Yes. Jackson, I don't care what you want. I want this one, and I want it today.
Nice.
The question is, do you want it?
I feel like I do.
That doesn't work. When Herb Brooks looked at Mike Eruzione in 1980 for the Miracle on Ice, which is the name of your fantasy baseball team.
It's true.
If Mike Eruzione would have said, I feel like I do, I think Herb Brooks would have pinned him up against the wall, and there would have been spittle flying everywhere in that room.
I kind of feel right now like I imagine Michael Walker felt in 2014 when they handed him the baseball and said, you're going out there, Michael. I was kind of like, all right, sounds good. We'll see what happens.
And then Travis Ishikawa went yard.
Yeah, hammers one, and we lose the NLCS. But that's how I feel right now. It's like, all right, I mean, I guess I get the ball.
You're not conveying confidence to this audience.
Well, I'm kind of conveying, like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bring it.
What are you going to bring it with?
Today's pack of questions, Tim, some of the discussion points are titled The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Piddles.
Wow. Take on Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet.
Kirsten Dunst.
Man, I'm going to go 2004.
Yeah, you nailed it. 04. Elijah Wood.
Dark film.
Dark, but I like movies where it's unreliable narrators.
How about this from Deep Voice Dude? I hate to pivot off Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If the USSR beat the USA in 1980, I think communism would have won the Cold War. That's how important that hockey game was. That's from Deep Voice Dude.
Might be a stretch. But, you're entitled to your opinion on the history of this country and of the former Soviet Union.
I think you're disregarding it because it involves #ice hockey.
Not disregarding it. I recognize the importance not only from a sports perspective, but from a political perspective and kind of the fate of the world. I get that. I totally do, and I respect that. And I respect those who love it, and I think it's awesome. And I think it's a watershed moment in sports history and in American history generally. But if you were asking me which would I rather watch, the Miracle on Ice game or the current NBA All-Star game, I stick by my guns.
Well, I wasn't even going there.
But that's just,
I've tried to bury that segment. I requested, my attorney, team of attorneys, requested from Hubbard that segment be removed from the archives.
Can't remove it from my brain unless we go Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and have it erased.
Nice callback to those of you who enjoyed Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet 20 years ago. I won it today, so, maybe in the YouTube chat they won it. I would imagine they do. I would have to think they do. YouTube chat 101 ESPN, and then you have the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Are we giving away tickets again, Jackson?
You better believe it. Yep, and I got trivia. I got another trivia question.
Is it non-sports?
Non-sports. Non-sports. I think this one's going to be tough. I think people think it's one thing, but it's another.
I thought yesterday's question was great. Yesterday's question, for those of you who were not listening, the question was, what is the most viewed interview in American television history? Is that correct?
Yep.
I got a bunch of Frost Nixon.
Which I believe was third.
And the number one was Michael Jackson and Oprah Winfrey in 93. What was number two?
Number two, I want to say, Monica Lewinsky.
Monica Lewinsky.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Well, I mean, I like this. Is going to come in around 10:45 again today?
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So at the end of the third segment, I will deliver it. And I assume we'll get an answer pretty quickly because it's a limited amount of options for your answers. But I think some people will be like, oh, really? That's the answer to that question? And I look forward to that.
Now, I'm going to let people know about this Eternal Sunshine of the Piddles Mind.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Piddles.
Got it. I said to Jackson about 9 o'clock in commercial break on TMA, I said, boy, I get up early in the morning, dressed in black. Don't ask why, because I'm down with a suit and tie. You know what that's from? Dead Homies, Ice Cube. I'll take care of it for you.
Thank you.
And I watch Scott Van Pelt. I hope and pray each morning that I have a Scott Van Pelt to watch. And fortunately, he was in last night. And I think the first 40 to 45 minutes of SportsCenter with SVP last night were on the College World Series, and then they were waiting for the conclusion of the Panthers and Oilers. And then they broke that down with more hockey coverage than I think they've ever given. So
Two
they had
ESPN properties.
They had College World Series and Stanley. And I'm not saying it's not warranted. What I'm telling you is somebody who has done this now for what Jackson calls 25 Hall of Fame years. I don't know. I guess I'll go to the banquet. But if you're doing that, there isn't much going on. I'm just telling you how it works. Do with it what you want. If you're like going that direction,
right?
I'm just telling you how it works. Trust me on this stuff, and I think you do. So then I said to Jackson, I said, the Cardinals are off yesterday. The Battlehawk season's over. What could you possibly have in your series of questions? How good do you feel about it? And what did you tell me?
So I felt real good. Yeah, worked on it early this morning. You know.
So this gentleman is confident that I won't have to take $50 out of my Venmo and send it to a listener for a deep dive because the eternal sunshine of the spotless piddles is that good. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, I yield my time as the gentleman from South St. Louis to the gentleman from Ladue, Horton, Watkins. This is Jackson Bennett Burkett.
All right. That grand introduction will certainly help this lead question. The Cardinals will be facing rookie phenom Paul Skenes tonight. Got that name right?
Yeah.
I go between Skenes and Skenes.
Well,
I'll know by the end of
why
tonight.
don't you go toward the right one, which is Skenes?
Skenes. All right. Well, trust your gut. Who is the hotshot of LSU, who also happens to be dating Livy Dunn, one of the most popular influencers on social media? What has me interested is the heat he throws, topping out in the shallow triple digits, and his splinker, a combo sinker and splitter that has proven to be nasty. How interested are you in seeing what the young fella has in real time? Also, in your lifetime, who have been some of the best young pitching phenoms to come up, and how many of them panned out to have great careers?
Wow, good question. I like the latter one. I'm interested. I don't know. I'm not like jumping up and down about it, to be honest with you, but I'm interested. Being real honest, I think the Livy Dunn thing's more interesting. But, young pitchers coming up. Strasburg, I feel like, was a big deal.
Huge.
And then it's localized because the Cardinals were playing, as Joe Strauss called them, Natitude in the 2012 NLDS. And they were like, nope, we're not going to have him throw because we've limited his innings. And I recall saying at the time in 2012, and I guess it's like results oriented, but I mean, I said it in 2012. I happen to be right. You don't know how many opportunities you're going to have. You got to go.
Yeah.
You got to go. And you got to go. You got to take your shot when you got it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if the Cardinals win that series if they had that approach. The Cardinals nearly didn't win that series as it was. So with that all established, the Nationals would wind up winning the World Series in 2019, but it's not like they had some kind of dynasty, and perhaps looking back, maybe they should have, because if you remember, you know who else was on that team? He would grab his crotch at Jason Mott in Game 5.
Juan Soto?
No, Bryce Harper.
Oh.
2012. Juan Soto would grab his crotch
2019.
in 2019. That is correct. There's a lot of crotch grabbing from our nation's
Bryce
capital.
Harper was, yeah. Boy, that Nationals 2019 team was loaded as hell.
'Twas indeed. So, with that all said, you take a look at it now, and you go, man, I bet they wish they would have tried to maximize that. The other young pitchers, let me see what we got on the...
like Kerry Wood kind of came up. And
Alex Reyes is a nice play.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't recall. The Kerry Wood thing arrived for me. I mean, I'm in college at the time, so I'm not paying attention to much. But Kerry Wood was the afternoon game at home against the Astros where he struck out 1 billion guys. I don't know if he had the hype coming up.
Okay.
Alex Reyes is a great call by MD 2020 in the YouTube chat. So that's a nice play. The hype there, and that's just a really sad story. I mean, there's no way to spin that one. I'm not talking about from the... I mean, it certainly is upsetting from the Cardinal standpoint, but that guy, he was a really good head on his shoulders guy, and it's just brutal what's going on there with health.
Yeah, it sucks.
Who else?
I feel like Dwight Gooden's always like the one people go to, but that's
Dwight
so long
Gooden
ago.
killed it.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Right.
Dwight Gooden, when he was starting and pitching at that old ballpark downtown... Yeah, I mean, it was the
lunch.
best. Yeah, I mean, you're just like, okay, they're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
That was that. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Mark Pryor, that's a nice play. Mark Pryor had a lot of hype. That probably predates you a bit, but he was a part of the 2003 Cubs that were on the verge, pre-Bartman, of winning the NLCS. So that's a nice play as well.
I feel like Jose Fernandez, obviously a very tragic ending, but he was a pretty big hotshot pitcher when he was coming up.
I think we're having two different definitions of this. I'm talking about guys who, before they got to the major leagues,
Yeah.
you're talking about young pitchers who got going. Like Skenes, not everybody, but I mean, if you followed it, you knew about him at LSU. And that isn't real common. Ben McDonald, I think, is one that's way before your time.
Okay.
I think he might have been LSU as well, and he went to the Orioles, and he kind of flamed out. Ankiel's a nice play. Frick James put that in there. Ankiel's a nice play, and that absolutely delivered him. He was pitching when he was 19, man.
Yeah, that just doesn't happen anymore. Like they're not bringing guys up at that age.
Dealing.
Yeah, that just doesn't happen anymore. Like the Yuri Perez is a guy with the Marlins who I believe is 20 or 21, and he was poised to have a big year. Obviously got hurt, but that's like a rare one where a guy's in his 20s pitching. It's just like 20 years old. That just doesn't happen anymore.
I would like to say that either a 30 for 30 or a film. I know Ankiel wrote a book. It was a great book. I blew through that book. It was such a good book. It needs to be a film or a 30 for 30. It's waiting to happen. I think I may have said it on 101. Hell, I don't know, with the number of shows we do. But I feel like the 30 for 30s have fallen off recently. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the one last week on the Vancouver riots following Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. But I don't know what kind of mass appeal that has, and I don't really know. It was interesting because it actually wound up being, there were two riots. There were the riots going on in Vancouver, then there were the riots. It was kind of the first social media shaming of a sports event. Mm-hmm. And so I liked that. A major recommendation for a book is So You Think You've Been Publicly Shamed, or So You've Been Publicly Shamed by John Ronson. And they interviewed him on that the people who were caught down in the riots, some weren't even involved, and they got death threats. And it's always amazing to me, like those who are trying to hold up morals on social media are saying some of the most vile things in order to, quote unquote, hold up morals. And yet they are not held to account. It's a fascinating little system that we currently have that I think in 10 or 20 years we'll look back and go, wow, can you believe that went on? Like, athletes doing cigarette commercials. Yeah, we need a good 30 for 30, and I think the Ricky Ankiel story is...
Yeah, oh my God, that's feature
so
film capable.
It's so much there.
Yeah.
So much there. But yeah, Ankiel was pitching in 20, or not in 20, he was pitching in 99, I think, at 19. He turned 21 in 2000, I think. I don't know. Anyway, and then obviously what happened starting opposite Greg Maddux in Game 1 of the 2000 NLDS.
New Greg Maddux documentary also coming out. MLB Network's putting that together. He's an interesting fellow. I actually look forward to reading about that, like the mental games he would play.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to me.
Yeah, he's got an amusing and kind of Bob Saget-like sense of humor, I think,
yeah,
too.
That too. Yeah,
that you would never think, just like when you looked at Bob Saget.
Right.
All right, it's 10:18. Jackson's got a trivia question, giving away these Def Leppard and Journey tickets. Tickets are on sale now, or you can text 314-399-9646 when Jackson has the trivia question. And how do you win, Jackson?
So when I ask the trivia question, if you are the first person to send in the correct answer, you will win. So totally objective. There's no me picking one thing or another.
Right. Like somebody says, and I think the Celtics are going to sweep.
Yeah, that won't help you. That won't help you. Even though it probably is the case. I don't know.
I thought you were on Celtics in 6, but now you've
still am. But boy, God, Mavericks got to work the ball around the perimeter.
All right, we'll see what we got coming up on the eternal sunshine of the spotless Piddles here on Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN. Jackson, we got some good activity going on in the YouTube chat. I mean, there always is. But I think people are taking your question. Maybe I took it wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, we know I'm not, but maybe I'm wrong. False humility. I'm taking your question as, with regard to the Pirates starter, Paul Skenes, tonight, as highly anticipated pitchers getting to the major leagues and people buzzing about them. The text that we're getting, for the most part, it seems to me being young pitchers who started off hot and then fell off. Mm-hmm. Is that what you were going for?
No, I think the question itself is tough to kind of in your mental state.
You just use the word mental as a verb.
I was going to use the term mentalize, and then I quickly realized, boy, does that sound goofy. So I then pivoted to something even dumber.
Right. There's a little recap of what just happened.
But like Strasburg was I would say, the first huge pitching phenom of the social media internet era. And so he was everywhere. And so we haven't really had one since Skenes.
Well, you're really having a tough time with it.
Because there should be two E's if it's Skenes.
I can't help the way the man pronounces his name.
Yeah, I know. Okay, since Strasburg, Skenes is probably the biggest pitching phenom. But prior to Strasburg, like you'd have had to kind of go through different channels to find out about some of these young pitchers. Like I'm sure Roger Clemens, when he was coming up, was really, big time. Or if you're a Detroit fan, Justin Verlander, you knew everything about them. David Price, same way. But since the social media, internet era, it's kind of just been Strasburg, who was the ultimate of pitching phenom rocket ships.
Yes.
So it's kind of tough to think about that way. One name we left off, and I think is a mistake, is Nuke Lelouch.
Nuke Lelouch.
Yeah.
Tim Robbins, 1980. I'm going to say 7 because it gets me 88.
I think it's 87.
And 86.
I got a lot of questions about Nuke Lelouch.
Okay.
No way this pitching phenom would have such control issues. And also, how did the Mets call him up from single A? He's in the bus leagues in Carolina.
Wow, sounds like Jackson does not like Bull Durham. That is his take today.
It's my favorite baseball movie.
I thought you said it was a rom-com.
Both. But if he's in the bus leagues...
Well, you're playing all your hits today. You're playing The Miracle on Ice in segment 1, and Bull Durham is your favorite rom-com.
It's just outstanding.
Can you name the starters from the 2012 NLDS for the Washington Nationals?
Starter...
the pitchers who started games against the Cardinals in a classic 5-game series that I don't think is appreciated as much as probably it should be.
Yes, I'm trying to name one.
I don't know if you can name one.
Scherzer.
That's the whole point.
Scherzer.
Is that they didn't pitch Steven Strasburg in the postseason, boy.
Did they have Scherzer?
I told you that in the first segment.
Oh, well, I wasn't paying attention.
Unbelievable.
Was Scherzer on that?
Is Rocky where is he still in?
Fine by me. You got it, Rock? You got your own questions, huh? What do you got? Got a nice head of hair, I'll tell you that much.
Does.
Big old head, though.
Thick.
Boy, howdy.
I don't think I'm going to set the over-under on 0.5.
So Scherzer, no.
He was not on the team, so they didn't let him start. Okay. There's a new rule. Ryder,
if you could enter my ear, give me some information.
I'm watching you, Mike Ryder.
Boy.
I mean, at some point, I got to put you on the clock. I hate to do it. I know you're in the
Annabelle
tank.
Sanchez not in the club yet?
I'm on a flush draw, and I didn't hit on the river. The truth is I have a set of fours.
Where was Kip Wells in 2012?
Where's Kip Wells playing poker? Okay. Gio Gonzalez got 2 starts. Ross Detweiler got a start.
I remember Ross Detweiler. He spent some time with the Pirates, I feel like.
Edwin Jackson of the 2011 World Champion Cardinals.
Yeah, double deuce.
And Jordan Zimmerman. That's who
I remember
started.
Jordan Zimmerman because there was Ryan and Jordan Zimmerman.
If you're a Nationals fan, wouldn't you have liked the option of having, say, Steven Strasburg start one of those games?
I don't know how you got around Cosma.
Steven Strasburg, for the record, had a 15-6 record with a 3.16 ERA, but he was not allowed to pitch in that NLDS.
Well,
so the Cardinals losing to Barry Zito in Game 5 up 3-1 in the NLCS against the Giants may not have happened, sliding doors, had the Nationals not decided to opt for 2 Gio Gonzalez starts and 0 Steven Strasburg starts.
Why'd they give him 2? Yeah. Barry Zito, underrated pitcher of the 2000s. He was really good.
He was, and then I think his name carries a negative connotation because he got a huge deal and he never really was the same guy once he crossed the bay.
Yeah, him and Chandler Parsons.
Chandler Parsons reset. It hits at 10:27.
Ask the people in Memphis. Ask the people in Memphis how they feel about Chandler Parsons.
People in Memphis, how do you feel about Chandler Parsons?
They'll text
314-399-9646. Next question.
Oh.
Oh, do you have a sounder? It looks like you went to hit a sounder.
No, I had to re-sign into my computer.
Oh, my goodness.
Is Rockio still available? That's the wrong password, Tim.
Why am I getting yelled at? All right, I'm going to fill the
No,
time.
hold on,
by
I got it,
talking
I got
about
it,
the
I got
Stanley
it.
Cup Finals. I'm sure that's not going to be on the docket.
No.
The last time a team won the first 2 games of the Stanley Cup Final Series, best of 7, and then lost the series.
I want to say one answer, but I feel I'll be victim.
Go ahead, fire it. What do you
I'm
get to
about
lose?
to be baptized.
If you have a 0% approval rating, you can't get any lower.
That's the fact. Boston Bruins 2019. They split the first 2
I guess
games.
you forgot about Boom Boom Gunnarsson.
Oh, that's right. In the urinal session beforehand.
That's correct. Look at this.
All right, I remember that. I remember
And of course,
the games.
he beat Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh,
You just couldn't see
DBA
it.
Tuukka Rask.
DBA Tuukka Rask. That's correct.
he was like the ghost, or well, I guess Patrick Waugh's still alive.
But this did involve the Boston Bruins, so I'm going to give you partial credit.
Oh, nice.
2011.
Oh, yeah. But didn't they raise the chalice in
They
11?
did.
Nice.
Yeah, but we've already talked about it. Back-to-back segments. 2011, the Canucks won both first 2 games at home, but they went on to lose the series in 7, and then they rioted, hence the 30 for 30 that I was complaining about.
Oh, okay. So that was, Vancouver.
Yes.
And they had I shouldn't even try to name one of their players. I know for a fact I could not.
Can't go wrong with Bobby Lou.
Bobby Lou. That was
Roberto
his name?
Luongo.
Well, I don't know. Who
The
that is.
Sedins. We talked about the
Oh, that's
Sedins.
right. The brothers Sedin.
That's correct.
They're good.
There'll be more of this coverage on Forecheck, please.
That's right. With me and AI Jamie Rivers,
That's right.
who's unaware. The real Jamie Rivers is completely unaware.
Rivers texted me yesterday afternoon. I'm like, oh, God, he might not be happy about this stupid-ass podcast idea Jackson has. But the good news for him is he's not involved. It's AI Jamie Rivers.
They keep talking hoops on the fast lane, too, and I'm here, and they still don't bring me in.
So you're still here at the time?
Oh, I'm sitting
And so
right there.
You want to get the call.
I want the game. I want them to call me in like Michael Waka, full circle, and I'll throw against Ishikawa, and that'll go poorly. But I want to, give me some
so they're
airtime.
talking Maverick Celtics?
They're talking hoop rock, and I'm sitting here with the ball in my hand.
Man,
a
it's like
deflated
having
ball.
Woj in the building.
That's what I'm saying. You got the guy right here. Let me spread my wings and fly.
I think it's time.
I'd
How come
say
Marshall
so.
will book you?
I know I'm like, Marsh, I'd be good for the segment. He's like, ha, you're right. I'm like, what are you laughing about? This is serious. Unbelievable. They all come on our show. We've had Carrie on. We've had Jamie on. Marsh has filled in on TMA. Here I am. You've been on the fast lane multiple times.
You feel like you're not allowed at the cool kids table.
No, I'm not. I don't know why. I'm so nice to those
Why
guys.
isn't Jackson allowed at the cool kids
All I do
table?
is pump their tires, tell them how great they are.
399-9646, or, of course, the YouTube chat, and John Scores, MD 2020, and your mom's boyfriend are active in the YouTube
Treat me
chat.
like a pet.
Jackson, the trivia question's coming up in the next segment.
It
I
is.
can't wait.
That is
And
exciting.
the winner gets tickets to Journey and Def Leppard.
That's right.
That's taking place at Busch Stadium on July 6th. Somebody's going to get free tickets coming up in the next segment. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Boy, we had that hailstorm in St. Louis 16 days ago. I bet a lot of you were hit hard by that. And I am going to take my car and my wife's car to Munganess, St. Louis Acura and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota to get that repaired. That's the thing. Not only do they have great deals on new and pre-owned vehicles, they have an incredible service department as well. Just go online at stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com, and you can work with some wonderful people I've gotten to know over the last 5 or 6 years they've been with us on our shows. Lowe's. That's Jamie Burkhardt. That's Peter Munganast. And then in the service department, Ryan Seiberg. Just go online. Go shopping. See all the vehicles available, new and pre-owned, at stlouisacura.com or altontoyota.com. And they have a deal specifically for our audience on TMA that we bring over to Balloon Party, and that is the following: $589 a month, no money down for a 2024 Acura MDX Premium. That's right, no money down, brand new car, $589 a month, and that's at Munganast St. Louis Acura on an Acura MDX Premium. stlouisacura.com, altontoyota.com.
This is Action Jackson, the Sports Center update, and that's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Cardinals off day yesterday, back in action tonight as they take on the Pittsburgh Pirates at Busch Stadium, 6:45 p.m. Miles Michaelis on the mound for the Redbirds. Paul Skenes on the mound for the Pirates. And then tomorrow evening, you can hear Blues and Bruins. We'll replay a Game 7 from 2019. That coverage starts at 6 p.m. right here on 101 ESPN. And then following that, Mavs and Celtics Game 3 tip-off at 7:30 right here on 101 ESPN. That was our Sports Center update, and that's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back, Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name is Timothy Michael McKernan. That's Jackson Bennett Burkett. Jackson, I'd like to give people a little behind the scenes before we go to your trivia question, in which we're giving away tickets to Journey and Def Leppard at Busch Stadium July 6th. And you can text in to win Jackson's trivia contest, 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. And I was scrolling on TikTok. I love to watch families dance. But in this case, I was trying. I'm like, how can I get to even like a hundredth of? I don't even know how you've acquired all of your money. Is it because the trust fund? You're only 26. You still haven't been able to tap into that.
Well, the key to making all that money is not telling everybody how you make the money.
So that's why I go to TikTok.
Right. That's where the real wealth is found.
Exactly. Yeah. In the men's card room at St. Louis Country Club, all they're doing is scrolling TikTok.
Guys screaming at them.
Guys screaming at them who look like they work out for 8 hours a day.
If you have a six-pack and Lamborghini by age 24, you're a loser.
And there it is. That's
right.
a men's card room. So I was watching that as I was walking down the hallway, returning from the Little Wizard's room. And I heard a ruckus behind me. And I mean a ruckus. And they know here at Hubbard, I'm going to have fans get into the building.
Right.
So I just figured, okay, it's one of my fans.
Right. And security will quickly escort them out.
I'm just not going to.
You're like Messi on the field when someone runs onto the pitch. You have a guy come flying around.
But as you know, usually my fans are 20-something women.
Usually.
Yeah. Wash U, MBA program.
Yep.
But in this case, then I heard the fans say, "Don't act like you don't hear me, McKernan." And I go, uh-oh.
Which is always nice.
Yeah. And I turned around, stopped watching the families dancing on TikTok/investment strategies, and it was none other than Jamie Rivers in the building.
Oh, is that right?
And I was all fired up, and I said, "Come on in. The water is warm, brother."
Getting here early to get
And he said, "I got to go do something, probably show prep."
Yeah.
But he said, "If I have time, I'm coming in." And he's going to confront you, brother.
Oh, if he has time. We're on live radio. What else do you got going on?
I don't know. All
This is the show of record, baby.
They always put the shows of record on 1 hour and middays.
Yeah, prime time.
That's right.
That's when people are listening.
Absolutely. So, if we can talk about your new podcast with him.
Yeah. Well, the
Forecheck, please.
The AI version.
Right.
If I could get the real Jamie, that'd be great. But he'd be a little combative. I need a yes man. Yeah.
And your big complaint is that they won't put you on the fast lane to talk.
Well, they talk about it. They're on 4 hours, so they talk some basketball. There's NBA Finals going on. I'm here. This is what I do. This is what I watch. I get no opportunity to spread my wings and talk about it, and they're doing it. I'm right here. And Kerry Davis is great at it. He talks about it all the time. He's great at it. I could play so well off
right there. You don't realize it, but I know what you just did. You took a shot at Anthony Stalter. You took a shot at Andrew Marsh, and you took a shot at the man who's going to walk into this studio any minute. Jamie Rivers.
The latter is accurate. Stalter, for whatever, I don't know where Stalter was at the time.
Jamie Rivers is going to walk into this studio and pin you up against the wall, Jack.
I welcome it. I just
really?
I just
is
need
that your kink? Are you a sub?
I just want to feel something.
Wow.
No, I don't know. Jamie, if he wants to come in, he can come in. If not, I know where his priorities are.
Jamie Rivers to walk into this studio today.
Our door is always open. Apparently not the case from 2 to 6. Apparently
I feel like I could walk in there.
Probably, yeah. Everyone else but me. Persona non grata. One time they invited me on. I opened the door and they said, "Never mind." Not a joke. That actually happened.
That's outstanding.
Yeah.
A tip of the cap to the fast lane.
Unbelievable. They're like, "No, we got this." Call me for it, then.
So you're unhappy with his Kristaps Porzingis take? Is that correct?
Yeah, he was just reporting nonsense.
Oh, my gosh. That's a serious charge right there. You're accusing him of slander.
Well, he was like, he's going in for imaging, which is true. But he's like, he's probably not going to play in Game 3. There's no reports of that. I told him. I let him know.
Jamie Rivers has a source. The man played one of the big four.
Yeah.
Now, what did that mean? Boy, I wouldn't if let me tell you.
No, I'm not denying.
Thin ice right there.
No.
I don't know. I think if they went back and played the YouTube clip right there and saw what I saw, I think that might be I think you might be on the fast lane then.
I am not going to besmirch Jamie Rivers as being one of the premier athletes, not only in the sport of hockey, but in the world. I mean, to play in one of the four major North American sports,
you are starting to feel the heat.
You are in a class above him and Kerry Davis both. You're in a class above your own when you play professional.
How big of you to compliment a Super Bowl champion?
I mean, that goes without saying. And Jamie too, outstanding athlete, one of the world's best, truly. But Big Four,
you can hear the footsteps. That's what that means.
Big Four. It's like the Big Three, and then the good-sized four.
Oh,
well, for being honest. But listen. I love Jamie Rivers.
Bad idea.
And
Jeans.
I respect the hell out of his career.
Jeans.
I'm trying to beckon him.
Yeah. I saw Favaz walking. I go, oh God, here's Rivers. Yeah. He's coming. You better be ready. All right, you got your trivia question.
I do.
I can't wait to hear this. The first person to text in with the right answer at 314-399-9646 gets tickets to Def Leppard and Journey, July 6th at Busch Stadium. All right, Jackson, what do we got?
We all know that at the birth of this nation, there was 13 colonies. What was the final established 13th colony? Wow. What was colony number 13? Around the 1750s.
Okay, so you have 13 choices if you don't know.
Right. Or 50 if you want to. I mean, I think we can all accept Alaska and Hawaii are probably not going to be the answer.
Just always so condescending toward the audience.
Well, if someone guessed Alaska, then I'd have a question about their public education or private.
Oh, my gosh!
If someone guessed Alaska...
I am appalled. I would like to distance
the 13th colony was Alaska?
Where's Rocky? Where's Tanner? Unbelievable.
Bad answers coming in so far. Don't have a right answer yet.
You don't have a right answer yet?
Nope.
Well, maybe there's a tape delay. Maybe we're on a satellite delay.
Well, there is a delay, but we've got... Okay, the correct answer is...
What do we have?
I got to wait for Mike Ryder. I probably should have told him the answer first. He's not listening. Okay, fair enough. Ryder just told me he doesn't know the answer. Okay, I'll text him the answer. And so I feel bad now. I tried texting the answer instead of texting the person.
It's getting away from us. It's getting away from us. It's getting away from us. Pull it together, boy. Pull it together, boy. Pull it together, boy. Pull it together, boy. Jackson, what is the right answer?
I guess we have multiple correct answers, so I can say it. The correct answer, because I don't want to say and the person not be eligible.
Answers.
No.
We have multiple winners.
So if the first person isn't eligible, I don't. Right. But we have multiple, so.
I'm going with, God.
Yeah, I want to see
either Georgia or South Carolina. That's where I am. Am I right on that?
Yeah, you got one of the two.
Okay. I'll say South Carolina.
The answer is Georgia.
Yeah!
The province of Georgia was the final.
My first was South Carolina, and then for some reason I went against my instinct. Or no, I stuck with my instinct. Now that I'm more at peace with the loss.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, Georgia is the answer.
Yeah.
Peach State.
Huh.
Yep.
Let's figure out maybe they divide the Carolinas later after Georgia.
I did some like a straw poll of people around here. They were all guessing way too far north. Those were already established long before then. Georgia was the last one.
What was getting a lot of play north?
Delaware,
the first state.
Yeah, right. I was like, no, that would be off.
Okay.
Yeah, but the answer is I got one of Kentucky, and I was like, no. The Commonwealth of Kentucky was not the answer.
Dear Lord, Jackson has crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. That's from the 501, and that's Arkansas.
What did I say?
The comment about hockey being the fourth.
Well, I mean, no doubt about that. But I wasn't besmirching Jamie Rivers' career. Do people just like listen to what they want to listen?
I noticed that Rocky was making his way closer to the studio.
Oh yeah, I dare him. Bring it, Rock.
I mean, you're just calling everybody out here today.
No, I love everybody. I just don't feel that love is reciprocated.
And so you want to sit at the cool kids table, and your way to sit at the cool kids table is to attack the people at the cool kids table.
No, not anymore.
You don't want to sit at the cool kids table.
The window is closed.
So if they say, hey, Jackson, we need you on to talk about Game 3, you're going to say, I'm not available.
No, just kidding. I would fly. I would run into the studio. God, that's all I want.
But you only respect Kerry Davis's opinion.
No, that's not true. I think Kerry Davis is great at it. I didn't hear Marcia's opinion. I didn't think he had one. And Jamie, all he had was Tingus Pingus being out for Game 3.
Tingus Pingus?
Yeah, real ones. Michael Rappaport fans know. It's Tingus Pingus, Kristaps Porzingis.
One of the answers that came in was Boston.
No. For multiple reasons, that's incorrect.
All right. D'Angelo Hopkins in the YouTube chat and says, this elitist. Yep.
Friendly fire.
Jackson's going to go kick a puppy. That's from Frick James. Boy, you have crossed a line.
Well, I don't remember. I just said, okay, never mind. I like Jamie Rivers. I like him a lot.
I understand. But I mean, you made it sound like if you were like ranking leagues. I said big four.
Yes.
And you go 3 and then...
Big, like good sized 4.
This is an opportunity to clarify.
Right. And that's not an indictment on Jamie. He's still one of the world's best athletes. If you're playing professional hockey in America, in the NHL, the show, you are one in the top 0.1% of athletes in the world. So there's no shot at him, more of a shot at the organization. Wow. But they're growing. Growth.
Stunning.
Growth.
What a moment. You'll remember where you were on June 11th, 2024. Just like you'll remember where you were on June 12th, 2019. Nice. We went Blues 5 years ago tomorrow. Where were you?
Columbia, Missouri.
Were you really? Mm-hmm. Were you like at a cocktail lounge?
Yeah, I had worked
what
that
cocktail
night.
Lounge?
I had worked that night at the. I was a bartender at the country club, which is a pretty fun job. But it was.
It's always country clubs, isn't it?
Well, I was working at one. Didn't necessarily feel very elitist.
What, like a big NAS game?
No, like making Bloody Marys and rail vodka shots. No. But I was working that night, so I got to watch most of the game there. It was a slow night. And then after I left...
Were they buzzing in the men's card room as the Blues and Bruins were?
One person there eating chicken tenders, and, we talked it over. But once that game ended, once I left was right when they were about to win, and I was living right next to Willie's Fieldhouse.
Oh,
so
glorious.
I just walked right in there.
Cottage fries, if you please.
Yeah, and people were going nuts.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It was awesome. It was really, really fun. That whole run, I was in Columbia, and the bars were going crazy all the time.
God, I guess I'll tell some stories tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Patty Maroon on tomorrow.
Big rig.
Yeah.
Love that big rig.
I haven't talked with him in a while. See what's doing.
I wouldn't mess with the big rig.
He's great. I'm telling you, he's Charles Barkley of the NHL. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Love the big rig.
Yeah. We'll see if we get him on tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's program, talking it over. All right, we'll take a break. Final segment of Bloom Party for the day coming up next. This is 101 ESPN. Welcome back to Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Program is presented to you by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Bennett Burkett. He was bartending at a country club the night the Blues won the Chalice 5 years ago tomorrow. We went Blues Day here in St. Louis and on 101 ESPN. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, man.
Puts me in a good headspace.
In all seriousness, that was like one of the best summers of my life.
Because of the Blues thing?
Blues combined with I was living in Colombia, working a couple jobs, hanging with all my friends, but like what brought us all together was every other night watching the Blues games and getting fired up together. So that was,
Where would you watch the games?
Either the apartment, a bar.
What bar, baby? What bar? That's what I'm asking.
A lot of Big 12. That's kind of was always my spot. Like Big 12, liked Willie's a lot, Harpo's. Mix it up.
Nice.
All essentially
I like
the
those
same
wings
thing.
at Willie's.
Yeah.
Cajun chicken, cottage fries, if you please.
I don't know if they had those fries when I was there.
Cottage fries?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't eat much there.
Where'd you eat?
There's Soul Taco right across the street. Really good.
Yeah,
I
right.
like Soul Taco a lot. Well, obviously, our friends over at Booch's.
Yeah. No fries there, though.
Yeah, worth it, though. Burger's so good.
Okay, fair enough. What's your next question on Eternal Sunshine, Spotless Piddle's mind?
Yep. President of Baseball Operations John Mozeliak spoke with the media on Blogger Day and Saturday. A few topics from there I'd like to discuss. On the topic of young pitching, Mozeliak seemed to be relatively frustrated with the lack of development or consistency of the young pitchers in AAA.
Good. He's got somebody to blame.
If you were in his shoes or whoever will captain the ship in the coming years, what would be your concern level with the lack of young pitching? And then on the trade deadline, Mo hinted at the need for a fifth starter and also floated the idea of a right-handed bat in center. What do you think that means for Tommy Edman upon his return? And is it a pipe dream that the Cardinals can make significant moves at the deadline due to the low count of trade pieces?
A lot of questions in there. Fun. I'm going to try to track them all down. I would be, if we're on a 1 level of little concern, 10, high concern, 10 on the pitching situation. Reading an article, this is along the lines of what you're talking about, Jim Bowden this morning in The Athletic, talking about the trade deadline. And he said, our understanding is the Cardinals plan to be buyers with one and only one acquisition as their target, a fifth starter. And it was like, yeah, I mean, again, this we get into, we still got 50 days of this nonsense left where, people do the trade deadline thing.
Yeah, trade proposals.
Oh, my God. It's like we start working on the 2028 election on the morning, Wednesday morning after.
Well, now you're going to take a shot at Joe Lenardi putting out bracketology the day after the cut down the nets.
Got Basori taking on Montana. But he also talks about now, if things go south for the Cardinals, they will trade the first baseman and the closer. And I thought, ooh, closer intriguing.
The latter is very intriguing.
I just don't know what they're going to get for trading Paul Goldschmidt.
On top of the no trade clause as well.
I think at this point in his career and 2 months left,
he would be willing to.
Yeah, it's a different deal.
Sure.
I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It would surprise me. Eduardo Rodriguez last year refused to leave the powerhouse that was the Detroit Tigers to go play for the Dodgers. He didn't want to leave Detroit and the garbage team to go play in Southern California for a world championship contender. So, hell, I don't know.
Right,
but that's my theory. But anyway, at some point, because of what your final question was, the lack of trade pieces to acquire valued major league talent or high minor league talent, they're going to have to make a pivot. I don't see another way around it. I could be off the mark. And so if that's the case, you actually do have a piece that can give you some of that talent, and it's Helsley. And we talked a little bit about this on TMA today. And that is the lifespan, career-wise, of a closer in Major League Baseball is similar to a running back in the NFL. And if you have somebody who is killing it like Helsley is, he really is, then you got to maximize that, and you got to catch it right at the right moment and do quite well. The Brewers, when you look at the chain of events that have taken place since they traded Hader, they have done quite well in that deal.
Yeah.
Quite well in that deal. So along those lines, again, the Cardinals could absolutely win the World Series. Cardinals could absolutely win the Central. I know that sounds crazy, but I'm not looking at it through the lens of, I think growing up, especially if you're around my age range or older, you think of a world championship team as, this was the best team. And now I view a world championship team in baseball as this was the team that got hot for 4 weeks. It would really surprise me with what they have right now, because I don't know how this rotation and this offense somehow navigates it. Plus, I worry that one of these key relievers is inevitably going to run into some problems. Kittredge's numbers have started to trend up as of late with the use. So with that all said, it would be in the best interest, I think, of the organization getting closer to truly being a great team again for them to be in sell mode. Same thing I was saying last year, except last year it was super obvious. They were in last place. This year, like 5 days ago, they were in a playoff spot because everybody's in a playoff spot, and only 4 teams were above 500 over the weekend in the National League. So it's tough to part ways with a campaign and pivot, but that's why these trade deadline articles this early in the year are so
speculative.
They are speculative because, the only thing the Cardinals are in the market for is a 5th starter. Well, only 4 teams have scored fewer runs than them, so that would strike me as being a little odd as well. So, Jackson, I like a summer of relevance after we've had a summer of irrelevance last year and 2 Blues seasons that weren't necessarily fulfilling. Well, this year they lurked until the final weekend of the season. I just think it's in the best interest, most likely, for them to move on.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Bring more John King, baby.
You love John King.
Crown the King.
But
John King fan club, #1 member.
Maybe they begin a 12-game winning streak tonight against
Paul Skenes.
Yeah, game 2 of the 12-game winning streak, since they're on a 1-game winner right now
for
beating the Rockies. All right, time for us to go. PK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Burkett, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.